And then Shakespeare, he takes another tack at the whole problem, and this is where the rubber hits the road as far as I'm concerned in terms of how you constitute your individual being. And Shakespeare says, and it's not a metaphor in many ways, this, all the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. And so from this Shakespearean perspective, your being is more like a play than it is like a collection of objective phenomena. And then what happens is the play itself, like a Shakespearean play, becomes a more accurate representation of being than a scientific description does. And it's because it plays out, it's because it accounts for behavior, and because it plays out the consequences of behavior from the subjective perspective, because a good play elicits the sort of passions and emotions and motivations that are subjectively experienced that actually characterize your life as you live it. So what that means is the play, a novel, a book, a story, is an abstracted representation of reality that's subject to just as much rigor in terms of conception as a scientific description of a given thing. And it's also real. Well, it depends on what you mean by real, right? Because we already found out what the scientists think of as real, but there's lots of arguments about that, because I might say, well, I would judge what you consider real by watching how you behave, not by listening to what you say about the structure of the world. And that's an existential perspective as well. And so then I would note that regardless of what all of you might say about what you believe about the nature of reality, it's certainly the case that you're going to act as if your own perceptions, your own subjectivity is real. So for example, if something hurts you, you can think all you want about how pain is not objective, but that's not going to get you out of the painful situation.